welcome back to my channel. This is Nicole with Made from Scrap, and today I'm going to show you how to make this small little page for the album that I am working on for Once Upon a Book. And it's using those 8x8 paper collection, and it has a pocket here, and this is a slip. It's actually what we're going to be putting over the hinge in order to create the page. And then we have a flip here, and then when you turn the page over, you're going to have another flip here and another spot here with a large pocket on the bottom. And that's going to be your page. So let's get started with this. To make this page, you're going to need 2 sheets of 12 by 12 cardstock, and I'm using the linen cardstock that is Artisan by Country Craft Creations. And the first cut that we're going to make is at 8 1/4. So we're going to cut this down to 8 1/4, and then that's all you're going to do with this larger piece. You're going to take the second piece and you're going to cut that down to 9 1/4 in length. We're not going to cut the small section. We're going to just cut the 12-inch side down to 9 1/4. That's your second piece. So you know I labeled these A and then piece B. So this is A and this is B. Okay, we're going to set that aside. You're going to take your second sheet of 12 by 12, and then we're going to cut that down to 8 1/4 also. Okay, and you are also not going to cut this larger piece, so this is going to be the C piece. Set that aside, and then we're going to take this scrap piece and you're going to cut that down to just short of 8 1/4. So just a little bit shorter than 8 1/4. Why? Because this is going to be a pocket. Okay, so you should have these 2 pieces left, as well as this piece we just cut, and we're going to call that D. Okay, now let's put our cutter away and let's go ahead and get our scoreboard out, and we're going to go over the scoring. So turn your stack over, and you're going to start with that A piece. And that A piece, you're going to put the 12-inch measurement at the top of your scoreboard, and we're going to score it at 8 1/4. So right there, 8 1/4. And that's the only score you're going to make on that piece. Then you're going to take your B piece, and your B piece you're going to put in your scoreboard with 9 1/4 at the top, and we're going to score at both ends 1/2 inch. So you can score like this at 1/2 inch, and then you can come over and score at 9 3/4, or if you like to always score at the 1/2 inch, you can turn it all the way around and score it at another 1/2 inch. So 1/2 inch and 8 3/4, or a 1/2 inch on both short ends, and that's your B piece. Then you're going to take your C piece, and we're going to score that with the 12 inches at the top at 4 1/4, 4 1/4, and 4 3/4. 4 3/4. So that's your C piece. You have 2 score lines. And then lastly, you're going to take your D piece, and we're going to put that in the scoreboard with your 8 and just shy of 8 1/4 measurement at the top. And we're going to score that on all 3 sides at 1/2 inch, because this is going to become a pocket. But I'm going to go ahead and turn mine, because I don't want to lose that little small sliver that that little small sliver. If I would have scored it at 1/2 inch on this side, then it would have just been too big of a pocket. So I want to make sure to turn that around. Okay, so both short ends at 1/2 inch in, and then one of the long ends. And this is going to become your pocket piece. Okay, and we can put our scoreboard away. And we can use these 4 pieces that we just scored. So let's go ahead and burnish our pieces, all of the score lines. Let's do that together. This one, burnish them really well. Okay, and then last piece here. Okay, so we first have our A piece. And the flap needs to be to the right-hand side. That's this section right here. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to put that B piece on the left-hand side. So we're going to use our glue or our adhesive. If you're using score tape, you're going to stick the adhesive onto the outside of that already scored 1/2 inch. Okay, so the flaps are going to be in, and then we're going to stick it on the left-hand side, while this flap is facing you. Okay, and we're going to burnish this down, and make sure that you are all the way over to the edge of your page. Okay, remember, this becomes your hinge. It's a large hinge, and once we put the hinge in here, it becomes a pocket also. So this is the front of your page. Then you're going to flip your page over. Okay, so we're just gonna, here's the flip, here's the flap, and here is your, basically a belly band, right now. We're gonna flip it just like a book page to the left, just like an open book. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take this C piece, and this C piece has that 1/2 inch gusset, if you remember. Okay, so what we're going to do, that is this back side. Okay, if you can see, what I did is this is the gusset right here. So I have the smaller flap on top and the larger flap on the bottom. Okay, so what I'm going to do is with this 1/2 inch gusset, I'm going to roll the gusset over, or fold back towards that first score line. So there's the second score line. Okay, see that gusset? I'm going to roll it back. See if you can see it a little bit better here. See that gusset? Roll it back like this. Okay, and that 1/2 inch marking right there is where you want to put your adhesive. So go ahead and put your adhesive just on that 1/2 inch. And then we're going to make sure to line that folded edge, that first score line, with the shorter piece on top, right up to the side of the page. And lay it down. And make sure to align the bottom and align the side, and then you're going to give that a good squishing. or burnishing. Okay, so line up your bottom, line up your sides, and then burnish it down really well. And make sure to fold your page open and burnish it again. Okay, so now you have this larger flap and you have the smaller flap. Okay, now the last thing that we're going to do is when you open up that larger flap, we're going to place this pocket down. So we're going to open up this flap right here. So this is the back side of your C page. So we're going to take that pocket, which is D. We're going to trim the corners off, miter the edges right across those score lines, the X and the score line. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and fold these under. It helps if you make sure to burnish really well. We're going to place glue on those, and then we're going to glue this down. And when you glue it down, make sure you align the bottom and that left-hand side. Okay, you want to align this left-hand side and the bottom. In other words, you want to leave that little gap that's there right at the page turn, in this case. Okay, it gives it room to lay flat. And burnish that down really well. And now you have your pocket here. Okay, so that's going to turn like this, and that's going to turn like that. And that's the back side of your page. And if you want to do your inking, if you like to ink like I do, then usually I would do the inking ahead of putting all of the pieces to get assembling the pieces. And then I cut my papers, and then I will ink the papers, the decorative papers, and then I'll glue everything down. That seems to go faster. The last thing that I had here were these two photo mats right here. So from your two scraps that you had, you're going to see that you can make another photo mat from this just by cutting this down. So let's go ahead and do that. This shorter, just so that they match. So you should have a piece that is 2 3/4 wide by 3 3/4 long. Okay, and we want to have 2 of those. So make sure that you have the 3 3/4 long. That's that one. And 2 3/4 wide. So I'm going to trim this one down. And we have used, by doing this, I'm not going to glue these down yet because I have to put my decorative paper on, but that goes right there. Okay, and we have used 2 sheets of 12 by 12 in order to make this page, and these little things here are scraps. I don't know where my second one went, but the corner off, there it is. That's our scrap. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this, and next I'll go ahead and decorate. I hope you've had fun. Happy crafting, y'all. Bye.